triangles could be shallow or deep. Here is a shallow cross-section versus a deep cross-section. Which one is more easily flowing? Well, let's find out. Here's a shape in between that has the width, you see it, from corner to corner, and a depth. Here's the depth. The cross-section is fixed because of the age of the river. So you write that A equals, what is the cross-sectional area when you know the width and the depth? You?
1/2.
1/2 of what?
W times D.
How did you know that?
It's like
You read my book. Yeah, it's true. Okay, so A equals 1/2 W times D. The way I think is that the cross-section is obviously this triangle plus this one, and the one that I cross-hatched is here, and then everybody knows the area of a rectangle, which is that. All right, and the weathered perimeter, which is P, is twice the, meaning twice the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is square root of, this is where Pythagoras comes in. You know the story of Pythagoras. What was he? Obviously, he was in antiquity. But what was he? Was he Egyptian? Come on, take a guess.
Greek.
Huh?
Greek.
Very good. Where did he live?
Athens? Greece?
You are so contemporary. No. He lived in the southernmost part of Italy, which was called Magna Graecia. The southern half of Italy belonged to the Eastern Roman Empire until the fall of Constantinople, which was in the middle 1400s. And all these people you know about, Archimedes and such philosophers, Parmenides and so on, others were there, Sicily as well. So, okay, so this hypotenuse is d squared plus, and then w over 2 squared. It looks like, depending on 2 degrees of freedom, it doesn't because of this constraint. And so when you replace the w with 2a over d, oh, sorry, I don't want to do that. I replace, that's what it is, okay? If you're searching for the minimum of P, this is now a technique from when you're younger, that search is equivalent to searching for what's under the radical sign. So to look for smaller p is the same as smaller 4a squared over w squared plus w squared over 4. And this, of course, takes you once again to the friendly competition between Roman 1 and Roman 2, except that on the abscissa you have w squared, not w to power 1. So you have what interests you. You want to minimize your the pain in your wallet, and then on the abscissa W squared with these two contributions, one rising as a line, the other one is like the line upside down, and meaning you set 1 equals 2, and you obtain, turn the crank, you obtain the best or the most recommended triangular cross section for easier access. It turns out to be W over D equals 2. Amazing. So now we see we let these sharp sides crumble. The cross-section became more natural looking, but the answer is kind of the same as the previous one. In fact, it is probably one reason why subliminally I made this drawing, because this drawing corresponds to this. If the D has the size 1, then the W has the size 2. You see? And this particular drawing then is that of a right triangle, meaning this angle here has 9 degrees, and the angle here has 45 degrees. Before we continue, I asked myself, why the coincidence? Because triangles are not the same as rectangles. Why did I get the same answer? And I forgot who taught me this particular way to answer my own question. Must have been a professor a long time ago who said, don't ask questions to which you do not know the answer already. But that was more recently than my mother, who told me, Adrian, don't talk about things you do not know already. Yeah, which is the same as don't tell others the good questions that you come up with, okay? Yeah, let's see now. Why this clean number 2? What does it mean? And here's to educate yourself. Let me draw this. Obviously, it's a not a shallow rectangle like this one. It is one that has one dimension here, 1, and then 2, like that. This is the best. And it is a drawing easy to make. And I'm gonna make it again, which is, I'll put it upside down, the mirror image. I did not violate any of my previous moves, because this dashed line serves as free surface, meaning zero shear, for both river cross sections. And I end up with the discovery, of course I know the answer already, that the best shape for a duct with 4 sides is the square. A square with a size 2. Get it? The square. Nice. Meaning I'm in safe territory. I'm among friends, not enemies. Yeah, but what about the triangle? The triangle has a free surface here. In fact, let me draw it here. The triangle is like this. 1 and then 1, and then I take the depth is 1. And here comes the preferred triangle. And then the mirror image of it, upside down. Here's another 1. And then here's that square again. I knew that already. So the easiest flowing river channels bring me back to old news, and therefore they reinforce the validity of my reusing a technique. Once again, in reality, a river cross-section with sharp corners is destined to disappear. Not only because of erosion, even on this kind of river bank, the river throws you in the water, but the debris accumulates. Remember, the sharp corners are pinching the flow. This is why the tea leaves gather at the center of the teacup. If you rotate the fluid with your teaspoon, in the center, the flow is of 0 speed, and that is where the leaves have a chance of sedimenting on top of each other. So slow flow, meaning pinched flow, collects the debris. Pay attention at an intersection. There's an infamous one here at the Science Drive. As you go toward the Washington Duke Inn, it crosses the Cameron Boulevard. Now it's called Coach K Highway. Never mind. There are a lot of collisions there. Collisions, you know, and even though they sweep the intersection, there's always debris, broken pieces of plastic from these contemporary bodies of automobiles. And then days later, even weeks later, in the very center of the intersection, these broken pieces accumulate, because that very center is the spot that's not crossed by any vehicle going through, because obviously in the middle between the two counterflowing lanes. But vehicles that turn are obviously not reaching the geometric center of the intersection. So that very center is the equivalent of the center of the bottom of the teacup. That is where the tea leaves of the broken auto bodies accumulates. Pay attention to these things that happen around you all the time. They teach you old lessons. All right, where am I? Yeah, so yeah, that's right. So you see, in nature, the cross-section rounds itself. It improves itself, at least visually. So then Adrian said, why not look at river cross-sections that are roundish as arcs of a circle. So here's a circle. And I'll draw it again here. And the river cross-section could be shallow, as in this case. This is a river with D a lot less than W. Obviously, you know what D is, and you know what W is. In the other extreme, you can have a depth that's comparable with the so-called width, or even greater than the width. Let's act as if we we came from the depths of the earth, where the river has a depth that's greater than the width, the free surface. Have you seen anything like that? Well, of course you have. Forget about the free surface. If you imagine no free surface, then you have a subterranean river. The Earth's crust is full of these things. Any of you have gone fishing on a riverbank? Nobody? What you do for fishing? You go to the grocery store. You are the opposite of battlefront heroes. On the way to the riverbank, you have to stop and dig for earthworms. Yes, meaning you go fishing first with a shovel, and you dig for earthworms close to the river where the soil is wet, and you discover that in the cross section, that soil has pipes. And my first thought as a kid was, like, wow, the worms are really, really fat here, except that they don't exist. You don't find the earthworms. No, those pipes, usually with the cross section of, say, my finger, are dug by the rainwater. The rainwater, through a porous medium that's natural, flows through pipes. It dislodges enough grains, obviously, to liberate its flow, and the cross section is round. And by the time these rivulets of let's call them water fingers, communicate with the big river slightly below, these pipes look like pipes. They look like drain pipes. And in the hydrology, they are called pipes. So the rainwater that reaches the river is dumped into the river by pipes. Those are underground river basins because the pipe is big. It's like the Danube of the subterranean flow. Upstream of it, smaller and smaller channels, and then of course even higher upstream is the wet, whatever you call it, mud or marsh or the stuff where you get stuck with your shoes. So yes, this configuration is not unrealistic. I'll tell you another, since I was in a Zoom discussion with a very famous zoologist, who pointed out that in zoology there is a puzzle. That the DNA of the earthworm is the same as DNA of the worms that live in fresh water and seawater. Nobody knows why. I said, I know why. It's because they came up these pipes from the water, and they found it not only healthier, meaning with the nourishment, but safer, not to be eaten by bigger aquatic animals, safer in the ground. It's equally dark for them because they don't have eyes in either place. So you see, when it comes to light bulbs coming up, it pays to talk to interesting people who are so enamored of discovery that they share with you their puzzles. And then at the confluence of A and B, and those are not my initials, you find that the answer is available. Get it? All right. Well, anyway, you can play with this configuration in which both W and D vary subject to that constant cross section called A. And then you discover that the so-called arc of circle cross section that's most permissive to flow with a free surface is this one. The one that has a semicircular cross section. So this is obviously D, and that's D and D. D plays the role of radius of the cross section, and so the W over D, the best is 2, just like in the previous two examples. And then try this joke again. Why the coincidence? Well, because if you draw the mirror image of this, you find that the solution for the open channel flow is in fact correct, because it is half of the drawing of the round pipe. See that? A comparison of all these discoveries. We looked at the best rectangular, triangle. In the book, I had a so-called bottom of the river that had a parabolic shape, and then the circular. And the W over D, I call it optimum, meaning the best according to the mathematics, turned out to be 2, and then 2, and then 2. For parabola, it was 2.056, meaning 2 again. And then the dimensionless figure of merit is this minimized wetted perimeter, which dimensionless is P minimum divided by square root of A. And that number turned out to be 2.828. Same here, 828. And then 2.561. And 2.507. Of course, the circle wins the competition, but it wins it, how should I say, like these records these days at the Olympics, there's a winner, but all 8 finalists have a time that's comparable with the winner, which is why quite often winning means the quality of the shoe that the runner is using. The so-called figure of merit, which would be shown here, if this is actually the geometric representation of the comparison. So this is on the abscissa. So that's P minimum over square root of A. And then on the left-hand side, proportional to the resistance or the power that's spent, let's call it lack of merit. And then you find that the best is the circle. And then these other cases that you imagined have levels of performance that describe a dividing of the realm of design possibilities into two. To the right is the possible. That means drawings not as simple, not as clean as these little sketches that I made. To the left are the impossible. And between them is this string of champions that are worth knowing. So the object of the lesson is for you to know these cases that serve as like guideposts. Guideposts were actually like these big sticks through which people kick the field goal, you know. What do you call them in American football? Uprights. Yeah. You need to know where those things are so that your ball, modest as it may be, passes through them. So that's today's lesson. And on that note, I look forward to having all of you once again cheerful and alert, creative, and nice next time we meet.